NBS Live at 9.
A crucial week ahead for government. Fresh tensions in the UPC and fresh questions being asked about public health, economic growth, among other things. Let's get to the headlines.
Because election brings in new faces, new leaders with different perspectives.
Museveni to set a 5-year target for new ministers.
It's always proper to keep them together, to give them the general direction.
NRM bets on retreat to boost manifesto delivery. Will it fix coordination or more talk?
I don't expect much.
Can be lawfully mandated to run the party.
UPC crisis deepens as opposing group schedules delegates conference a day after Akena's extraordinary meeting.
Let us move together and make sure that UPC continues to serve the people of Uganda.
Is UPC's rift irreversible?
Someone marries one wife, but even the brothers are sharing the same woman.
Chirhura tops Ankole with 11% HIV rate. But what could be driving the HIV surge? And can the trend be reversed?
One of it is that the culture.
That we push towards Uganda earning $2.5 billion.
Private sector demands more destination marketing despite over 5 billion shillings tourism boost. Will destination marketing get the priority it needs? And the good news is,
Cabinet adopted a new policy aimed at ensuring sustainable control of FMD throughout the year.
Government secures 53 million vaccine doses as foot and mouth disease fight moves to the next level.
20,000 farmers had been successfully onboarded into the national FMD vaccination system.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sabia.
Welcome. This is NBS Live at 9. I'm Victoria Sabatane, and we have Jagwe on the sign language rather. Now let's get straight to our stories this evening. As newly appointed ministers head to Chankwanzi for a week-long retreat, the ruling NRM is confident the exercise will strengthen coordination in government and enhance implementation of its manifesto. President Museveni will set the tone for the next 5 years, telling ministers, members of parliament and permanent secretaries the key target. However, opposition figures remain skeptical, arguing that the retreat is unlikely to yield meaningful outcomes, arguing that ministers have little say over key decisions.
The newly appointed cabinet and state ministers set off for Chankwanzi for a 9-day retreat convened by the head of public service and the secretary to the cabinet, Lucy Nachobe. According to the NRM Secretary General Richard Odwong, the retreat is aimed at further aligning ministers with government priorities, including the National Development Plan 4 and other key government programs.
And I believe the purpose of this retreat is to once again bring to speed the key priority areas in view of the National Development Plan, the party manifesto, and with the budget that has been read and approved.
But as the ministers departed, some opposition figures dismissed their retreat, arguing that it is unlikely to produce meaningful outcomes.
However good or however prepared anyone could come, thinking that they're going to execute duties in the particular document they've been given, they're going to face the same systemic changes that are affecting things like corruption. I don't think it can be fought by cabinet.
PFF National Executive Chairman Elias Lukwago says ministers are unable to openly challenge the president out of fear, yet such retreats are intended to provide an opportunity for candid discussions on national issues.
This is a very weak cabinet which cannot call Museveni to order, which cannot raise any issues which may not go well with President Museveni, which may not please President Museveni, who cannot speak out their mind. Then there is little you can expect.
Lukwago argues that many ministers lack the independence to make decisions and therefore sees little value in the retreat. However, Todong maintains that ministers are not expected to make individual decisions, but rather to implement resolutions collectively adopted by government.
So this infrastructure, the government structure, which you are going to see in Chankwanzi, is devoid of authority, has got no real authority and real mandate.
It's largely driven by the politics. That's why you find a person who maybe in semi-retirement, being given a very, very sensitive ministry, which requires someone who is agile.
Decisions are not made by individuals. These are collective decisions which are made. And a decision is already made in the manifesto. The manifesto is already a collective idea. The only thing is the mechanism of implementing the ideas which are already in the manifesto.
Technical staff, including permanent secretaries from various ministries, are also expected to participate in the retreat. Todong says their involvement is essential to ensuring efficient implementation of government programs despite criticism from some.
This is a meeting where you would expect, for example, the ministers to come out and tell truth to power and speak out their mind and tell Nabanja the way you're conducting business is not. They tear off the president, they tear off the members of the kitchen cabinet that you have usurped our powers. But now, you bring in again their subordinates, the people they are supposed to supervise.
In an office, it's better the chief executive is the president, and he's the one who has called all of them anyway. They all account to public service and to the president. The ministers do account to the president and the permanent secretaries do account to. So it is in order the president calls all of them to give a general direction for the country.
Lukwago argues that the cabinet remains too large and questions the capacity of ministers appointed.
Is that they have a very weak prime minister. Once you have the chief minister, the prime minister, who doesn't measure up to the required standard, you'll have everything go wrong.
The retreat is scheduled to run for 9 days from June 15th to June 23rd.
Well, let's hope they do have hot water for the next Chakwanzi. Now, professional and governance experts say that Parliament should consider technical competencies as it constitutes its sectoral committees to provide oversight to government. These say the legislative arm of government has the very last opportunity to sort the governance challenges created by political appointments in cabinet that don't align with the technical competencies of the appointees.
President Yoweri Museveni lined up his 7th cabinet to govern Uganda from 2026 up to 2031. Much as many factors explain the choice of his ministerial appointments, the president of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers says the engineering profession was not given the requisite attention it requires at the country's strategic leadership level, yet it is critical to the country's tenfold growth strategy.
If you look at cabinet, or if permanent secretary level, we need engineers in those spaces. We need professionals in those spaces to make sure that they can give oversight, they can give the right leadership in the sectors. There is wide recognition and acceptance that engineering is actually the center, the fulcrum, is at the center of national development.
However, government has defended these appointments despite many being questionable in public.
The cabinet positions are political positions. You may have time to look into people's professions, right? But there is also political loyalty, but there is also commitment on duty. I may not be a teacher, but I can make a better Minister of Education. It is possible. You don't necessarily need to be a teacher. So the issue of professionals leading the ministries, it may not really be an issue.
Experts say the president has been keen on placing the right professionals to the right dockets, but only for some ministries.
The Ministry of Health, whereby he is very particular in the people who he places there. Because, for example, in health, you have to diagnose a health problem. If you put a person who is not competent, who doesn't have the knowledge of the health sector, then there will be a big dilemma. Likewise, also the legal side, where you have to place an attorney general in a person who is a lawyer.
This comes as Parliament is set to constitute its sectoral committees.
Especially now, since the line ministers might not be experienced people, then now you have an opportunity that the overseers, the auditors should be technical. Many times we've been having a double dilemma by when the line minister is not technical and the overseers are also not technical.
This advice that only MPs with a professional and technical competence in some sectors should be considered, warning that lack of technocrats at the policy-making level may affect the country's tenfold growth strategy and demoralize professionals.
Singapore, Malaysia, even China, the idea has been to make sure that you have technical people in positions of responsibility who can then offer the right leadership that is necessary to spur innovation and spur growth.
Government, however, believes that the country is on the right path of achieving economic prosperity.
So there is nothing to worry about. The president has always been considerate. When it comes to those committees of parliament, we have always had the right skills in the right positions.
Well, still on Ministers' Retreat that kicks off tomorrow in Chankwanzi, we are joined by veteran politician and former Minister Captain Francis Babu to break down what this retreat is key for, especially for ministers, members of parliament, as well as permanent secretaries. Captain Francis Babu, welcome. I have a very key question because you've been in government. You've been in this position before. This is a fresh week with a fresh Chankwanzi for a new term. Tell me, what can Ugandans expect out of this particular week, especially for a new term?
Thank you very much, and good evening to all, and good evening to our viewers. Let me get straight to the point. We have Parliament, is an arm of government, and we have the executive arm of government. The executive arm of government has got new ministers. They are taking them to Chankwanzi to orientate them and to bring them in line with the programs that they would like to implement in the next 5 years. Therefore, the misconception that people are exuding are totally wrong. The executive arm of government, which are vested in the President of Uganda, and then he gives part of those powers to his ministers, is deciding to take his ministers to Chankwanzi for an orientation. So all this hullabaloo I'm hearing is a waste of time. Now, first of all, let's get another point very clear. The minister is a leader in a ministry. The permanent secretary is the manager of the ministry. They are going to run a ministry, they've got a docket, and they've got to make sure that docket has got some priorities in there that are going to be implemented. And the priorities come from the manifesto of the president, because he told you these are my programs. When I come from 2026 to 2031, this is what I'll be doing. He has already said it in his speeches. They have brought it up in the budget. So they are going there to discuss and put them in the line so that the ministries can go ahead. Now, these arguments about professionals and whatnot, any ministry will have professionals in the ministry. For example, in the Ministry of Works, the engineers are in there. You have them at different levels, all the way up to the commissioner's level. Those are the technical people who are highly qualified, and they advise the permanent secretary and the minister. The permanent secretary is the manager, a manager who manages the institution. So as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of misconception of how we go. When you're a minister, you should go there and threaten the president, ask him questions. That's not what they do. The ministers goes there to talk about the program with the president, and he can come in and chip in with views to expand on what is already there. But his job is not to go there and intimidate the president. That's what I heard one of the members saying. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is. They are going to Chankwanzi as the executive arm of government to look at the manifesto, the program of government. Then they are going to be put together in liaison with their permanent secretaries, how they are going to run the ministry. One is a leader who comes from cabinet, brings the information to the managers who are in the ministry, and they work together. The ministers, they cook some of the programs, give them to the minister, he takes them to cabinet. That's how it works. There's nothing big about it, and we wish them all the best of luck. By the way, it's very unfair to talk about other people who are already in government because you don't like them. We wish them the best of luck. We'll give them 100 days, which is 3 months, and we see how they operate. Then you can comment if they have not implemented what you wanted. Basically, that's my view.
Well, Captain, thank you so much for those views. You gave us a proper lecture of what exactly is going to be happening. With the new Chisanja being no sleep, what topic do you think is going to dominate at Changkwanzi this week? Is it going to be corruption? Is it going to be more than that? What dominating topic do you think is going to be discussed this week?
Well, nothing will work if you do not get rid of corruption. That's number one. That one you must get rid of. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you are in parliament, whether you are in the executive arm of government, or whether you are in the judiciary. Corruption must be looked at in a very serious manner. And in fact, in the budget speech, in the speeches of the president, all the way from Changkwanzi last time up to now, corruption has been right at the top of the list. They're talking about accountability. They're talking about discipline. These are things that we should be talking about. In fact, all the other things you're talking about are standard, because if you know how to read, you can read them. But these three must be made, they must push them in. And when they are saying the exchange is no sleep, it means you should not play with the time we are now running, because the people of Uganda expect services, they expect things to work. By the way, I wish all of them the best of luck. I'm not going to underestimate anybody. I think if the president puts them on the right track, they'll be able to work. Now, those who want to go and talk about and contest with the president, that's up to them. But as far as I'm concerned, the government, the executive arm of government, is going to prepare its team to be able to deliver the services to us. And one of the things they must get rid of is corruption. Number two, they must get rid of not being accountable. And number three, they should be able to have somebody to follow the oversight. If that's the prime minister, fine. If it is somebody else, fine. But every program must be followed. That's my view.
Thank you so much for that. But finally, if you were speaking to ministers tonight, what is the single most important advice that you would give them ahead of Changkwanzi?
One word: behavior, discipline. How to be honorable. Honorable is not a title they give you simply because you won the elections. It's the way you behave. It's the way you exude yourself. It's the way you talk about your program. It's the way you make your ministry work and move forward. It's the way you catch up with the timeline. If they give you a budget 100%, you must operate up to 100%. If you can't, then at least 95%. But you must make everything work with your team in the ministry. You are the leader, they are the managers. Let us operate. Let us have good behavior. That's all.
Well, thank you so much, Captain Francis Babu, for your insights and as well as wisdom, if I should say. Now, moving on from that, but still keeping with the politics, the leadership wrangles in the Uganda People's Congress appears to be far from over. A faction led by lawyer and self-proclaimed party president Dennis Adim Enap has announced a delegates conference scheduled July 25th, 2026, barely a day after Jimmy Akena-led faction convened an extraordinary National Council meeting that called for unity and reaffirmed Akena as the party president. More than 800 delegates are expected to attend the conference at Christ the King Church in Kampala.
On Saturday, the Uganda People's Congress Party President Jimmy Akena convened an extraordinary National Council meeting that resolved to maintain the current party structures despite the ongoing leadership wrangles and reaffirmed Jimmy Akena as the legitimate president of the Uganda People's Congress.
I have called this National Council to bring you on board and let us move together and make sure that UPC continues to serve the people of Uganda.
However, the leader of the UPC rival faction, Dennis Adim Enap, who did not attend the meeting and has previously declared himself the legitimate UPC president, now claims the National Council failed in an attempt to have him expelled from the party.
He didn't have the quorum. Secondly, the handful of people who attended did not agree with the extension of his term in office. And even the proposal to have Dennis Adim Enap expelled from the party was rescinded by the National Council for those who attended.
So when there's a chance for UPC to move, trust me, Akena will do everything possible. And I hope my legal team will protect me in case I go too far. But mine is for UPC to go ahead.
It is against this backdrop that Enap, who claims to be the legitimate UPC president, has called for a delegates conference slated for July 25th, 2026 in Kampala.
The delegates conference will be in Kampala at Christ the King Church Hall, where we intend to have it. It will start at 9 a.m. It will be a Saturday. We have extended all invitations to members that constitute the delegates conference so that we put to them the question on who can be lawfully mandated to run the party. And to that end, the Party Electoral Commission was appointed by Jimmy Akena, will present the issues of the elections so that then they ratify the party cabinet that I have appointed.
According to Article 13 of the UPC Constitution, the Delegates Conference shall meet at least twice every 5 years, and the party president shall call for the Delegates Conference upon giving a 1 month's notice. Efforts to obtain a comment from the Electoral Commission, the institution mandated to regulate and supervise political parties, were unsuccessful as the known telephone contacts of its spokesperson were unavailable. But as both factions continue to assert legitimacy and mobilize supporters, the latest developments signal a deepening power struggle within one of Uganda's oldest political parties.
Now, moving a little bit away from the politics, Chirhura district continues to bear the heaviest HIV burden in Ankole sub-region. According to the latest HIV data report by the Uganda AIDS Commission, Chirhura's prevalence stands at 11%, the highest in the region, followed by Mbarara City at 10%. Despite being one of the most sparsely populated districts, Chirhura's infections rates keep rising. Health officials blame the surge on harmful cultural practices, community complacency, and poor treatment of adherents.
Located 265 kilometers southwest of the capital Kampala, Chirhura district is predominantly known for commercial cattle farming and dairy production. The district has a population of 203,502 people, according to the 2024 National Population and Housing Census, and is regarded as a sparsely populated district in Ankole sub-region. However, the district is grappling with public health challenge, ranking top in Ankole sub-region with high number of HIV cases. According to the recently released HIV data by the Uganda AIDS Commission, Chirhura stands at 11% and followed by Mbarara City at 10%.
We found out that there are some vices which has brought again this prevalence rate to shoot up. One of it is that the culture.
Chirhura District Chairman Dan Mukago attributes the rates to both behavioral and cultural factors.
Where you find someone marries one wife, but even the brothers are sharing the same woman.
If your father-in-law comes and expects to have sex with his daughter-in-law, that is risky. And yet, culturally, it is taken as, it is something that is normal.
Besides cultural practices locally described as okwarana, where in-laws, friends and relatives are free to share a newly wedded woman, complacency and poor treatment adherence have also exposed locals to contract the virus. Reports also indicate that individuals living with HIV have continued to abandon the antiretroviral therapy and turned to herbal remedies.
Those people who have been on ARVs have abandoned, and they are not behaving well in taking their medicines. And that means those people are likely to cause, even to transmit the disease.
Despite being a sparsely populated district, Chirhura has recently had small towns grow into big urban centers, which have also attracted sex trade.
Either they come in as domestic workers, and we have markets happening, we have security installations, and we found, for instance, there is a security installation where there is an urban area, coming up around it, and when the security people, once they have finished their work, they go out and socialize.
HIV remains the top public health threat depending on the manner in which it is spread. Uganda has got over 1.5 million people living with HIV, of which 930,000 are women and 570,000 are men, making a national average of 6.4% to 3.4% respectively. Reports also indicate that while women contract HIV so easily, men continue to die fast due to HIV-related illnesses.
Why? Because men do not normally seek health services. They wait until they are very, very sick.
To combat the escalating rates in Chirura district, leaders and the Uganda AIDS Commission are actively partnering with religious leaders to intensify community sensitization to promote behavior and culture change, but also strengthen HIV testing and promotion of condom use.
We are moving ahead to supervise and monitor whether these things we put in place are still working. So I want to assure you that the task is high.
We can end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030, in the 4 years remaining, but all of us must be involved.
Uganda's tourism sector has received a major boost in the 2026-27 national budget, with government allocating 571.5 billion shillings to drive growth in one of the country's leading foreign exchange earners. The allocation, up from 169 billion shillings 4 years ago, has been welcomed by industry players who say tourism is finally receiving the attention it deserves, while private sector players are calling for greater investment in destination marketing. Government says promoting Uganda to the world will be among its top priorities under the new funding.
Tourism has long been described as one of Uganda's low-hanging fruits, contributing billions of shillings to the economy and supporting thousands of jobs across the country. Now, government is making one of its biggest financial commitments yet to the sector. The tourism sector has been allocated 571.5 billion shillings in the 2026-2027 financial year, a significant increase from approximately 169 billion shillings just 4 years ago. For tourism investor Amos Wekesa, the increased funding signals growing recognition of the sector's importance.
I think first we must thank the government for increasing the budgets for tourism. So for me, moving the budgets from 169 billion 4 years ago to 500 and something billion is a very good sign.
Wekesa says the sector now needs to deliver measurable results. Uganda currently earns approximately $1.6 billion annually from tourism, but he believes the country can do much better. He points to neighboring Tanzania, where the Serengeti National Park alone generates nearly the same amount Uganda earns from its entire tourism industry.
But we need to also make sure that when over 500 billion shillings is allocated to tourism, that we see results, that we push towards Uganda earning $2.5 billion from tourism.
Industry players say if the money is utilized effectively, Uganda could increase tourism earnings to as much as $2.6 billion annually, representing significant growth for the sector. Wekesa argues that Uganda's attractions are world-class, but the country must invest more aggressively in selling itself to international markets. He says attracting tourists creates opportunities that stimulate investment, create jobs, and drive economic growth.
I don't think the budget actually is enough for catering for the challenges that the country has in terms of tourism. I think that it will help push us to a certain level, especially if the money is actually used very well.
But government says destination marketing is already at the center of its plans. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Doreen Katusime, says tourism remains one of the 4 priority sectors under the National Development Plan 4 and Uganda's 10-fold growth strategy.
Our priorities as tourism is going to be number 1 on destination marketing, and this will be also rolled out through the economic and commercial diplomacy, where the missions abroad have been given funding to support tourism and investment.
The ministry is also positioning tourism to benefit from Uganda's co-hosting of AFCON 2027, with resources earmarked for marketing, training, and improving the country's capacity to host international visitors.
So we have also received funding for marketing rights, but also for training, for supporting and for enhancing our capacity to to accommodate AFCON.
Beyond marketing, government is also investing in tourism products and infrastructure. The funding will support upgrades at the source of the Nile, museums and other attractions. According to Katusime, Uganda Tourism Board is increasingly leveraging digital platforms to market the country, and plans are underway to digitize museum collections, allowing people around the world to access Uganda's heritage virtually.
We are investing in several sites to improve our product. We are investing in Source of the Nile, we are investing in the museums, we are investing in the Rwenzoris. We are going to do stopover points, refreshment sites that we didn't have before.
However, stakeholders say infrastructure challenges still threaten the visitor experience. Roads leading to flagship attractions such as Windy Impenetrable National Park and Mugahinga Gorilla National Park remain a concern, despite visitors paying up to $800 for a gorilla permit. Tourism operators are calling for improvements in these key areas to make travel across the country easier.
So those are areas that actually the government of Uganda must be able to work on. The other one is be able to position the new airport, so improve on the infrastructure of aerodromes.
More to come.
Well, still coming your way, the government's nationwide campaign against foot and mouth disease has entered a new phase, with authorities announcing that more than 20,000 farmers have already registered over 3.5 million animals for vaccination. More on that story coming your way as we continue on with NBS Live at 9. We'll be right back.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima gukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free of fire, free of fire, free of
fire. In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why you have until the 30th of June 2026. First, the 30th of June is your deadline to file your tax returns for the financial year ending 2025-2026. Don't wait. Late filing means errors, and errors mean penalties. Second, if you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026, and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Kamut Lager. Alcohol is not for sober persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The Kamani is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500K to process my NSSF money. How dare you?
The Ministry of Health informs the public to remain vigilant against Ebola virus disease. Symptoms include diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, fever, and body weakness. If you or someone you know develops these symptoms, seek medical attention immediately. Protect yourself and others by avoiding handshakes and unnecessary physical contact, washing your hands regularly with soap and water, or using an alcohol-based sanitizer. Cleaning frequently touched surfaces and avoid direct contact with infected persons' body fluids like vomit, stool, sweat, and urine. To report a suspected Ebola case, send an SMS to 6767 and type alert, or call the toll-free number 0800 100 066. Report early, protect lives.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and malty flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
Did you know? Brought to you by
Fake spare parts can be deceiving. They seem cheaper, they seem good enough, they get you moving for now. But what you don't see is the hidden cost. Damage to your car, endless repairs, wasted time off the road, and potential risk to lives. In the long run, fake parts cost you more. Choose genuine parts from any CFA or mobility location countrywide.
Did you know? Brought to you by
Welcome back. Let's talk foot and mouth disease. The government's nationwide campaign against foot and mouth disease has entered a new phase, with authorities announcing that more than 20,000 farmers have already registered over 3.5 million animals for vaccination. The Ministry of Agriculture says it has secured 53 million vaccine doses ahead of the July-August rollout and is pressing ahead with a cost-sharing arrangements aimed at protecting Uganda's livestock sector from recurring outbreaks.
The government has intensified efforts to contain foot and mouth disease through a nationwide vaccination campaign targeting more than 45 million livestock across the country. The campaign, which is being implemented under a new cost-sharing arrangement between government and farmers, is, according to the State Minister for Animal Industry, Bright Rwamirama, aimed at reducing recurring outbreaks that have affected livestock production and trade.
Cabinet adopted a new policy aimed at ensuring sustainable control of FMD throughout the year. Compulsory biannual vaccination of all susceptible livestock species. Farmers' contribution towards the cost of FMD vaccine through cost recovery scheme.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture, more than 20,000 farmers have so far registered approximately 3.5 million animals for vaccination in the districts of Nakaseke, Ntungamo, Mpiji, Kiruhura, among others. Under the program, farmers are required to contribute towards the cost of the vaccines, while government covers transportation, storage, and administration of the doses.
Farmer contributes 8,000 per dose for cattle and pigs. Farmer contributes 4,000 per dose of a goat or sheep. As of Friday, 12th June 2026, 20,000 farmers had been successfully onboarded into the national FMD vaccination system.
Authorities have also made vaccination certificates a requirement for livestock entering markets, a move intended to boost compliance and strengthen disease control measures.
Vaccinated animals will be issued with movement permits, market access, and participation in livestock trade activities in accordance with the Animal Disease Act and its attendant regulations. Livestock owners are encouraged to complete registration and payment before vaccination team arrive in their area.
The Agriculture Ministry says it has already secured more than 53 million doses of high-potency polyvalent vaccine, which will be administered during the July-August vaccination phase. The second round is scheduled for January and February 2027 to ensure sustained protection against the disease. Uganda earns more than $385 million annually from dairy exports, making livestock a healthy critical component of the country's agricultural economy.
Well, let's talk public health. Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Caroline Nashemeza says investigations are underway into hospital staff accused of extorting money from patients, especially expectant mothers. She reveals that some mothers are asked to pay between 200,000 shillings and 300,000 to secure surgery and hospital beds. Those who cannot pay are reportedly neglected and forced to sleep on the hospital verandas.
A section of medical workers at Kagadi Government Hospital are being accused of extorting money from patients, especially expectant mothers who seek medical services at the health facility. This illegal act has caught the attention of Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Caroline Nashemeza and other political leaders who have launched an investigation. Nashemeza added that she has compiled a list of suspected hospital staff and forwarded a report to State House with copies sent to police and other relevant authorities for action.
Instead of treating a mother who is very heavy, is charging 300, 200, where do these poor people get money? And if they don't pay the money, what they do, they throw them on verandas. This vice has to stop. If it fails to stop, the issue of corruption here, we are going to arrest all of them.
The Kagadi District Chairperson, Eli Gad Tomusime, attributes the vice to relaxed former leadership. But responding to allegations of extortion by some staff, the Kagadi General Hospital Administrator Simon Peter Tomusime says that they are working closely with the Office of the Kagadi Resident District Commissioner to ensure culprits are brought to book.
We are still cautioning our staff, whoever is involved in that, to immediately stop, because you have heard the statement of the RDC, anyone caught in corruption or extortion will have to be dealt with.
During his visit to the health facility, the Buyaga East Member of Parliament, Stefan Twesije, expressed concern over the poor state of the hospital staff quarters, maternity ward, and shortage of medical staff, calling for an overhaul of the government hospital.
We really require a complete overhaul of Kagadi Hospital.
Kagadi Hospital was built in 1968, but since then, it has never received a major facelift despite serving hundreds of patients, including those from DR Congo, Chikube, Chenjojo, Kakwamiro, Kibale, Hoima, and Chegegwa.
Now, in a bid to boost production and productivity in the dairy sector, the Worldwide Fund in Uganda has launched a new project called Time to Graze in Ankole and Rwenzori sub-regions. The project, run by, or rather with Kasese and Isinjiro district local governments, will pilot climate-smart grazing practices in the two districts, cut greenhouse gas emissions from cattle and reverse rangeland degradation while supporting farmers.
Over the years, pastoralists in the Ankole sub-region have grappled with the effects of weather variations leading to decline in pasture and water, as well as livestock productivity and production in the Rwenzori due to poor farming practices that lead to the emission of greenhouse gases. The Climate Smart initiative, dubbed Time to Graze by the WWF Uganda and partners, will be implemented in Kasese and Isingiro districts, Nyamgasa Parish in Kasese, and Masha sub-counties in Isingiro.
What we call Time to Graze, this is going to be a 3-year program that's going to be working in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, National Agricultural Research Organization, and universities, Makerere University, Mbarara University, and the Bishop Stewart Universities, together with different local governments.
According to the Worldwide Fund Country Director, Ivan Tumhimbise, unsustainable agricultural practices remain a primary drive of climate crisis in the fragile ecosystems.
Basically, to find ways in which we can address the issues of livestock productivity, so that we are able to mitigate the effects of climate change and specifically reducing greenhouse gas emissions, specifically methane, and ensuring that communities can find solutions on which can regenerate their pastures.
The 3-year pilot project aggressively targets a 20% reduction in methane emissions intensity from local pastoralists.
We have had issues of diseases, outbreaks, those diseases that are soil-borne, which come out as a result of animals feeding on bare vegetation, bare land.
Simultaneously, the project aims to restore over 4,000 hectares of severely degraded rangeland while boosting household incomes within the target communities by 20%. The Acting Commissioner Animal Production in the Department of Animal Health at the Ministry of Agriculture, Alex Mukasa, highlighted the strategic alignment of the project with the national targets.
The project is going to contribute directly to strategic objective number 5, which is looking at enhancing climate smart agriculture. So I'm very confident that this project is within the strategic objectives of the Ministry of Agriculture.
The Isingiro District Senior Veterinary Officer, Simon Rukundo, says restoring the rangeland will alleviate the local pressure on pasture, prevent conflicts, and significantly guard pastoralists against severe climate shocks.
This program, we hope that new interventions or better intervention technologies that the farmers have already adopted, they are going to be skilled or scared, and then they improve on what they have been doing.
Launch the project.
Well, allow me to take you through our top stories this evening. The NRM bets on ministers and permanent secretaries retreat to boost manifesto delivery. On the other hand, the UPC crisis deepens as opposing group schedules delegates conferences. And Chirhura district still leads Ankole with 11% HIV prevalence. Well, we've taken you through some politics, healthcare, and as well as the animal industry altogether. How about we get back into some business and sport, but right after the break.
Today we are in Makerere College School, and we've got our winner, and that is none other than Michelle. I am sure you've already gotten the school fees, and the excitement is already there. Thank you so much.
Michelle has won school fees for a year. Never Zaba Momo. 3 times paid, cleared.
You can also stand a chance to win. You simply have to dial *165 *80 hash or use the Momo app. Schools that accept students to pay school fees using Momo also stand a chance to win a van. Pay your school fees. You never know, you could be the lucky winner.
Oi! There's only one Vinny J.
Football is better with Pepsi. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
Everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels, live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Can I have a light, please? What is this?
Castor Light, the best testing light.
Try it.
Try it, try it, try it. Da, 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 da.
Guys, look at this post.
Nothing hits like extra cold. Castle Light. Try it.
Better study tips. Stay ahead of scams with double-check URLs before entering login credentials. Scammers create fake websites that look real, aiming to steal your data. Always verify the web address to stay safe. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Welcome back. Now, last week, the talk was all about the budget. Well, the health sector has also been affected by that. Uganda has allocated 5.23 trillion shillings to the health sector in the 2026-27 financial year, down from 5.87 trillion shillings in the previous budget. This comes at a time when many Ugandans continue to grapple with medicine shortages, rising out of pocket healthcare expenses, and growing pressure on public health facilities. Questions, however, remain about what this budget means for the ordinary citizens. To help us understand the implications of the allocation, our health reporter Henry Mugenyi speaks to the former president of the Uganda Medical Association and health policy expert.
A very good evening to you that is watching us today. Yet again, my name is Henry Mugenyi, and today I am joined by one of the people that has been very vocal for the health sector, the former president for the Uganda Medical Association, that is none other than Dr. Ekwaro Obuku. Doctor, a very good evening. Many people are saying that you've been lost. Where are you? Where have you been? And how's life?
Well, I've been around, but I took a break to join politics, okay? I joined the Uganda People's Congress and I campaigned for MP of Yam South. As you all know, the campaign was very scientific. I was allocated my results, 3,200 votes. Out of 49,000 votes, I was the fourth. The MP in waiting and now shadow MP.
Shadow MP, yes. MP outside Parliament.
MP outside Parliament.
Okay, today we're looking at the health sector. You've been at the health sector, at the home. The president of the Uganda Medical Association, a consultant with so many organizations in the health sector. What is your current assessment for our health sector?
Well, broadly, I would say there has been a general improvement. The number one improvement, you look at the tripling of population growth. The last census by UBOS put us at over 45 million. So that's tripling. In biology studies, in ecosystem studies, in reproductive health, it means the environment, the politics, the economy has supported the population to triple. That's a good sign. Number two, we look at life expectancy at birth. People are living longer. We have moved from less than 45 in 1986, 45 years of age, life expectancy at birth, to above 65. We are ranking well, I think, top 3 in the East African community, if not the second, after Rwanda. The third thing you'd look at is the economic growth. Because the growth, the economy has a relationship to health. Health is wealth, and without health, there is no wealth. You get me? Health is wealth, and without health, there is no wealth. You could argue it the other way that people who are healthy, they can go and dig, they can go and work, they can trade, they can take holidays, they go to school, and they generally contribute to economic growth. The president gives us a factor of 17. The economy has grown 17 times. So as doctors, we expect salaries of interns to grow also 17 times. And that's something I'd like to talk about later.
You talk about interns, but now I want us to first look at the health sector allocations. Yes. This very week, the East African region got together to read their budgets, but also you get inclusive. We have a very big budget for the very first time round, over 84 trillions. And when you come to the health sector, about 5.23 trillions were allocated to the health sector. Many arguing that when you come to the Abuja declaration of 15% early in the 2000s, and what is being offered currently, we've not surpassed 8%. From you and the current allocation, with the need at hand, what is your perspective?
Now, talking about the allocation, I know there is the Abuja declaration, 15%, okay? But you need to know the budget has also grown from 1986, 3%, 86, 87, 3% allocated to health, to now, averagely, 7, 8%.
Yes.
That is the proportion. But since the amount of money has also grown so much, this budget, we can talk about the absolute amount available. Okay? What we have, how do we use it? Allocation efficiency. How do we expend it? How is it that we are saying we haven't reached the Abuja declaration and we are returning money as the health sector?
Maybe you have the answers.
You get what I mean? So that internal efficiency, we need to also work upon that. That's one aspect. So that we don't say, we don't have doctors, but we are returning salaries. So let's work on the difficult bureaucracy of recruiting doctors. We have said doctors should go to Health Center 3 in line with the parish development model. Health Center 3, sub-county, several parishes, isn't it? So there we should have a doctor as well. Okay? But how are we returning money when we don't have doctors and doctors are on the street? And what is the reason? The president said he will allocate money for roads even if they eat it. There will still be enough for what?
For construction.
To macadamize the roads. Of course, in the north we have less roads. Roads are important, even to health, to reduce the type 2 delay, transportation for a mother to reach in time to deliver a baby, especially when they have obstructed labor. So a road is also important. That's why the president argues that this Abuja declaration of yours, if you add roads, if you add education, if you add agriculture, I'm even at 20%. And I agree with him. But the efficiency is very important. How much can we do? Can we do more with a single shilling? If we have to buy an ambulance, are we buying at the market price or at the inflated price? All of those things matter. You may even reach 30% allocation to health, but it's not enough because of inefficiency. Or you call it corruption. So let the president allocate money for health, so that even if it is eaten, people will still access health. You come here, Molago is lacking money, you are giving Loboa money, a private developer. Loboa International Hospital. We swallowed over 100 or 200 billion before we could see a brick. But Mulago, which has been asking for less. Lira Regional Referral Hospital. Let us go to Luwero, the mecca of this government. Let us assess Luwero District Hospital. Do they have a dialysis machine? Because that's where these people fought for this government. Because Ruhero should be the SI unit. Okay? You know there are two budgets of health. There is the one for us, wananchi, the taxpayers. And there is the budget for the big people. The ones who are able to access and allocate themselves so much in form of salary. Parliament, cabinet or the executive arm, and judiciary. The big people have their money from the taxes to access private health care. They have access to go to India. Yes, they fought, which is good. But why can't we fight to have that money and services here in Mulago, transplant surgery?
That is why they're constructing Lubowa, to reduce medical referrals.
No. Mulago can do it at a lower cost. Lubowa is breaking our leg. Can you imagine if the first family goes to seek care in Mulago? Will there be anything lacking? Can you imagine in Kiruhura, if the first family, the president's cousins, go to Rushere, or Mbarara, and they say, for us, we don't want to cross to Kampala. Mbarara Regional Referral Hospital would be standard. Can you imagine if MPs sent their children to the UPE schools? Would there be chalk missing? Would teachers be underpaid? Now they are quarreling, they are even giving up. It's good this budget they have put 500 billion for them. Supposing the MPs' LC5 children were actually receiving care in the health center 4, would there be anything lacking like money? They would be allocating budgets because they know tomorrow their children are coming.
How many doctors do we have on register?
Now the numbers have grown. The register has 10,000, and we expect to add at least 1,000 every year, if all of them register. But if we discount for the foreigners, we also discount for those who are here temporarily, we also discount for those who migrate. The rule of thumb is 30%, which is, so we have about 7,000. Then we discount for those who are in the NGO world not seeing patients. We may say 5,000. Those who renew the annual practicing license, about 8,000. But let's say 5,000 are actually doing clinical work. And let's assume we are 50 million. That ratio is 1 to 10,000. Still very bad, but better. Okay? Those who are actually working. Now the challenge is that those who are actually employed are even fewer. But they are there in the market, underemployed or unemployed. And therefore government must do everything to deploy them to Health Center 3.
Many hospitals are being constructed. Many are being upgraded. Who's going to work in these facilities?
Let me start with the interns. That money, even if it doesn't appear, it is nothing. It is 24 billion.
28.
When you add the SHOs, it comes 35 billion. Can I tell you the amount of money for special meals? 500 billion. Can I tell you the amount of money for donations? Over 100 billion. So why don't they donate to interns 28 billion? Or 25 or 35 or whatever it is? You see what I'm saying? So that is the ideological corruption I'm talking about. You came from the bush. You are eating beans. The beans, you even came with energy and conquered and established military. Eating beans. It is 40 years down the road. You cannot implement your youth skilling program for the medical sector, because that is a youth skilling program. They have graduated. They are getting their final polishing skills and licensing so that they can go independent. And you are saying you don't have 28 billion. But the speaker's budget, which used to be 2 billion, one person, 2 billion there in an office, not even in the home. You are saying you don't have money. Why do you allocate? If you go to the market there, a car of 200 million, my friend, if I move with it in Kampala, they'll probably be turning their eyes. Why do you add MPs 115 million? Each to buy a car. Are they buying planes? What are they buying? Did they campaign on foot to start with? By the way, even a car of 100 million can move for 5 years. Since they have fuel and maintenance. And by 5 years, maybe it is dead. You have a campaign again. Okay? But we are giving them 350 million. Can we not cut the 115 and give it to medical intern? So it does not, the medical intern money doesn't have to be itemized. We have now mastered budget by supplementary. So what is this one of interns 28? We can even get lost there in corporate social responsibility of Parliament. So for me, that issue that there is no money is no longer there. The budget month was this month. Dr. Ramadan Gobi, the champion of economics that works, said Uganda now has some money. And I believe him. That's why it can be squandered. And the country is still limping. Others would have closed as a fragile state.
Dr. Buku, the fact that you're a researcher, you've done policy analysis, you've also been at the forefront for medical insurance, but also at the forefront of the Ghana Medical Association, do you still believe that Uganda can still hold onto its promises that it can provide free healthcare services to the population?
Yes, focusing on a few things. Reorganize, re-engineer the financing such that it's democratic. This business of giving champagne to a few, okay, and denying drinking water to everybody. This is what Thomas Isidore Sankara said. Either we have champagne for a few or wine for a few, or we have drinking water for everybody. Right now, the people in government have become so arrogant. They are so complacent. They really don't care about the citizen. How can we reach a state of affairs where a minister in a country is actually a citizen of the United States of America? The children, where are their children? They are in Europe, they are in Asia, they are in the Americas. How can such a person, let's think critically, how can such a person really plan for UPE with one heart? So once you have fixed the financing, changed it, made it more democratic for everybody, then the number two thing to fix is human capital. And human capital we have elaborated here. They are there. The nurses are there. The pharmacists are there. I heard the president saying drugs get lost in Health Center 3 in his budget speech yesterday. But there is no district health pharmacist. Assistant DHO, maternal and child health. That's why we are improving maternal child health, environmental health. That's why we have people there to help us with the mosquitoes and so on. Then the DHO is a medical doctor. There is no one specialized in taking care of. So there should be a district pharmacist who is an assistant DHO. There is no way we can leap to a tenfold GDP of $500 million by 2040, just 13 years from now, without doubling our doctors and nurses and pharmacists, the scientists.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ekwaro Obuku. Dr. Ekwaro Obuku is a researcher, policy analyst, but also someone that has been at the forefront for medical doctors. We remember him when he was at the home of the Ghana Medical Association. So many initiatives from his leadership that yielded fruits, that the fruits doctors enjoying today. But also he mentions that let's not just have champagne for only a few and water for only those that are suffering. Let's have either champagne for all or water for all. Back to the Political Command Center. My name is Henry Mugenyi.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
Well, it is that season where we look critically into where the budget is being allocated to. And one of those places, the government says it has invested close to 11 trillion shillings in wealth creation programs aimed at lifting Ugandans out of poverty and accelerating economic growth. But while the budget speech paints a picture of expanding opportunities, many traders in Mbale City say they have never heard of the Small Business Recovery Fund, which was specifically created to help businesses recover from COVID-19 shocks.
5 years after the COVID-19 pandemic crippled businesses across Uganda, many traders in Mbale City say they are still struggling to recover. Some still operate with reduced capital, others are servicing expensive back loans, while some closed.
It took me time to reconcile with the bank, and we thought maybe government would pay for us some money to reduce the pressure, but we ended up paying by ourselves.
And up to now, we have not recovered the way we used it to work.
In his budget speech for the 2026-2027 financial year, Finance Minister Henry Musasizi said government established a small business recovery fund in 2021 to support such businesses. The minister reported that the fund has so far disbursed more than 82 billion shillings to over 4,000 small and medium enterprises across the country. However, in Mbale City, many traders say they had never heard of a fund, yet they continue to struggle.
We have never, even at one more time, we accessed those funds.
Mbale City Industrial Division Member of Parliament Karim Masaba says the communication gap extends even to lawmakers.
Is that you'll find not many of our people are aware, not many of the members of Parliament are also aware or have proper information on how much and what money is going where. What usually happens is Ministry of Finance usually brings a lot of documents, big documents, to the members of Parliament, and they need them to be processed in the shortest time possible.
Masaba's admission exposes a deeper challenge. Parliament approves billions of shillings for wealth creation programs every year, but awareness remains limited among sections of the population they are intended to serve. Political observers argue that this communication gap may partly explain the national resistance movement's mixed performance in Mbale over the years. But as the government allocates another 2.49 trillion shillings to wealth creation programs in the next financial year, the success of those interventions may ultimately depend on not only on how much money is released, but also on how effectively information about those opportunities reaches ordinary citizens.
Well, it's time for sport this evening. Now, Kawempe Muslim ladies goalkeeper Juliet Adeke is the most decorated player in the history of Uganda women's top flight football, having won 6 league titles with Kawempe Muslim. Adeke, who has spent nearly 11 years with the club, celebrated her 6th league medal after guiding her side to the 2025-26 season glory.
At the establishment of the inaugural FUFA Women League in 2015, Juliet Adeke was one of the pioneer players in Kawempe Muslim as the team went on to win 4 consecutive titles. Adeke served as an understudy to then first choice and national team star Ruth Aturo. After Aturo's departure, Adeke stepped into the starting role. The 2017-2018 season was her first as Kawempe Muslim's first choice goalkeeper, and she helped the club win the league title while she also earned the Best Goalkeeper Award of the season. When the competition was rebranded from the FUFA Women Elite League to the FUFA Women Super League, Adeke remained a key figure for Kawempe Muslim, helping the club win the 2022-2023 league title and once again claiming league's Best Goalkeeper Award. At 28 years old and originally from Mbale, Adeke has spent the last 4 seasons mostly on the bench. She is currently the club's 3rd choice goalkeeper behind Saidat Namwanje and Josephine Nambuya. Adeke says that discipline, patience and determination are the key factors behind her success and ability to win a record 6 league titles.
Another thing, if you want to win this trophy, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, I think I could not be able to be in those 6 titles. And to respect your coaches, that is one. It's very hard to find someone who has spent almost, I don't know, because the league started in 2015, yeah, up to now. I mean, Kawempe Muslim only. Meaning I have, like, Kawempe Muslim has given me that comfortable zone. Not saying that this is where I want to stop, no, but they've given me that comfort zone. It's very hard for girls because girls, our behaviors is so different.
She also encouraged younger players not to lose heart when they are left on the bench.
How do you come back? In those 6 trophies, actually, I'm not in those all those 6 trophies. I'm there, but not saying that all those trophies I was in the goal. The other trophies I was with Arturo, and this one with Saida. But those trophies I've won by myself. At least I have a golden glove because I had the aim. I could say that if God gives me that chance of going to the goal, this is what I want. And God helped me and I got that chance.
Kawempe Muslim Women Football Club head coach Ayub Khalifa Chiinji has worked with Adeke since 2015. He attributes her success to commitment and professionalism, while teammate Saidat Namwanje prides in the guidance the experienced goalkeeper extends to her.
She has been with us for the 6 trophies we have taken. That means she has been with us more than 6 years. She's a disciplined girl in terms of discipline. When you look at her, she has a respect, she has command. Actually, she has all the signs of leadership.
Muyigirako bingi fenga abazanyi okoze ensobi nakutereza kuludda fa abamu abaddenga muzadde kubanga tusinga experience ate muntu mukulu asobola kugamba waneno wachamu yadde gobola banga watufu naye akutereza era tumuyigiddeko bingi n'oba okoze mistake obanga ozanye game no losing adekeye muntu ajja nakugamba tofayo next time better nakuma nalabanga encha osobola okudda ku training.
Assistant captain Sharifan Nachimira described Adeke as a mother figure within the team.
Backline, because seeing the knockup goals, the later Duban goals, she was in goal. So that command, the leadership enabled her to have their 6 trophies.
According to Ayub, the club has started preparing Adeke for a future coaching role, albeit the 28-year-old preferring a more playing role.
I mainly use her as my goalkeeper coach. I'm trying to groom her to be one of the goalkeeper coaches. She has undergone very many courses of goalkeeping, so I'm very optimistic that I'm grooming her for the future.
Being a goalkeeping coach, I will not say that this is the thing I want, but it's easy because first of all I'm a goalkeeper, so it's very easy for me to learn it, and it's very easy for me to try to organize, like to train my friends, because these are the same things I've been through. So it will going to be very easy. And first of all, I want to thank Saida. She has been listening to me, although I was in the team, but I was like a coach player.
Kawempe Muslim Ladies remain the most successful club in Uganda women's football, having won 6 league titles, with Adeke playing a part in all of them.
The 2026 NCBA Golf Series opener at Uganda Golf Club saw Division 1 producing standout golf across the board. Joseph Chwinyai was the day's star, firing a brilliant 70 gross to claim the overall Division 1 title and top men's honour. Martha Babirie took the ladies overall with 77 gross, holding off Judith Kumugisha on 80. Junior Sean Nsereko impressed with 80 gross to win the junior category.
I've won myself a fully paid expense trip to Nairobi, so I can't wait to fly the flag of NCBA to Nairobi and maybe also make Uganda proud as a country. So I feel happy. And NCBA has given a lot to the golf in Uganda, supporting the grassroots of golf in Uganda through the US Kids tournament. So I'm proud of them for what they're doing, and I can't wait to make them proud in Nairobi.
I did because I've been practicing in Kenya after I was suspended, so I went out, then I came back positive. Yeah.
It's a series of tournaments that happens across the country and across East Africa, and the inaugural tournament in Uganda is here at the Uganda Golf Club.
We have had more than 200 golfers participate in this leg, the Kitante leg. So we are overwhelmed, and we would want to thank the golfers and our customers that have actually been able to embrace the NCBA Golf Series today.
Defending champions Kampala City Beach Soccer Club retained the FUFA Beach Soccer League title after defeating St. Lawrence University 5-2 in the 2025-26 season final played at Bombo Gardens Beach Soccer Arena, Kasanje. Kampala City finished top of the regular season with 33 points from 14 matches ahead of St. Lawrence University, Mubs and Mutola, who also qualified for the playoffs. Opuli Sharif of Kampala City BSC was named the most valuable player, while Edweu Godfrey of Kampala City was the top scorer, while Zinda Ali of Mubs was named the best coach.
The season has been good for me. If you see St. Lawrence and Kampala City reach the finals, it has been a competitive season, and we have seen such good talent come up. For example, Edwau, who has come up from the secondary schools. Now he's playing in the league, dominating.
But unfortunately, since the university team, you know, most of the guys have been on holidays. Our preparations have not been all that good, but at least we managed to finish that.
So winning this trophy also adds more points or makes me strong on a national team. That may be when they call again the national team coach, the technical teams, again they might call me because I've won the trophy. So it means a lot to me in so many things, like just as I've said.
When I look at the future of the game, the future is bright because we have got some players who came from the secondary schools and they joined the league. When you look at the team right behind me, there are some players from the secondary school that we recruited from the secondary schools, then they joined the league.
Finally get their hands on the title. They won it the previous season.
Well, thank you so much for choosing to stay informed with us here on NBS Live at 9 from us and the rest of the team. May the Lord bless you, keep you, make His face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Good night.
NBS. Always.
This year, I promised myself 3 things. Be more intentional with the people I meet, less screen time, and fewer excuses. Well, so far, I'm doing very well on the excuses. But for the screen time, let's just say I need a second chance.
I know the feeling, Chris. We have all made big plans and then just watched them quietly walk away. But it's not just us people who need second chances. I mean, look at this. All made out of recycled material. It's got tire rubber in there. Here we call it malegin. So you can just imagine. Full of second chances. It's lakes, rivers, rooftops, and old sacks. And even sand on a remote Kenyan island. All getting another shot.
It's a new part of her morning routine, collecting seaweed for the garden. Caroline Kennedy runs a camp on a small island off Kiwayu, off the Kenyan coast. She'll use the seaweed to help improve her vegetable beds.
So we actually don't have soil here, it's sand. So the challenge is trying to make soil and source water and use it as economically as possible because we don't have running water here. All our water's brought in by donkeys. And that's why I contacted Sue so that she could help us understand how to do things properly.
Biologist Sue Kahumbu specializes in regenerating soil. She's become known as Kenya's soil whisperer. But this is the first time she's attempted to transform sand into fertile soil under such difficult conditions.
I absolutely do believe that we can turn this sand into soil that will produce food for consumption here. We do have to look at other issues, the heat, the humidity, the moisture that's lost in the ground very, very quickly. We also have to look at the salinity of the soil and also the salinity of the air. But if we look around us, everything is green. Nobody's been putting fertilizers on this place.
But how could vegetables possibly grow and thrive in these conditions? Sue Kahumbu's approach, inoculating the ground, which means adding microorganisms. Kitchen scraps like fruit peelings or leaves are perfectly sufficient to provide the nutrients needed. Microbes then begin to form in the soil. Sue Kahumbu adapted this concept from American microbiologist Elaine Ingham, who passed away recently.
Going through her course and seeing that happen and learning how to make compost as a biological inoculant, not as a fertilizer, and then seeing it work, seeing it change, seeing plants react differently, seeing entire ecosystems change based on igniting the life underground as opposed to continuing killing the life underground and pushing in a chemical support system has just, yeah, it's for me, it has been the most eye-opening journey in my entire journey in agriculture.
Now, she can attest whether this works with sand as well. The most important thing is to keep the ground moist. To do this, the team uses leaves from native plants like aloe vera or the algae they collected in the morning. They also measure moisture levels in the ground at regular intervals. This helps them save a lot of water. At first, they were using 200 liters a day. Now, they only water when the plants need it. And, equally important, checking whether enough minerals are present in the ground. Whether it's sand or soil, the scientist wants to bring out the best in every type of ground. For more than 20 years, Sukahumbu has been working to improve soil quality in Kenya. Over 60% of the farmland in Kenya has degraded soil. Across Africa generally, that figure is at least 65%. In major cities like the capital Nairobi, the soil is also heavily contaminated, mainly due to pollution from traffic and discarded waste.
Soil degradation in urban settlements is a really, really big issue, and especially around informal settlements, because there's a lot of toxicity that's in the soil, there's a lot of compaction that's in the soil, as you can see from this area. When you grow plants in a toxic environment, it's more difficult to grow, but those plants also can suck up those toxins.
Christopher Waithaka has been experimenting with ways to improve the soil in the city with his community-based organization, ComGreens Solutions. 3 years ago, he took an online course led by Sukahumbu. Now, they are meeting in person for the first time in the neighborhood of Korogosho, where Christopher lives. It's not far from one of the capital's largest landfills.
And I find that we are close to the dump site, which is like a kilometer. Find that this area is polluted, even the soil, not only the air, even the soil is polluted, the water is polluted, and you can believe if the water is polluted, the soil is also polluted.
In 2017, he and other residents launched the ComGreen initiative to improve their neighborhood. Their first project was to clean up the banks of the Nairobi River and create a park. Later, they also began revitalizing the soil on their own property and growing vegetables.
The soil which we are having here, through the training, we know how to make the soil to look healthy. And a part of that also, we are using compost, which is organic.
Back on Kiwayu Island, they are also early signs of success. Some trees have taken root and one variety of beans is doing well. Sukahumbu is hopeful. Tests in her mobile lab show that microbes have accumulated in the sandy soil. That means that humus can form, providing essential nutrients.
I think that there's huge potential to restore soils anywhere. The microbial story is what needs to be corrected, and microbes have amazing remediation capacities.
It looks like her experiment here will be a success, allowing organic vegetables to thrive in the sand, despite the adverse conditions.
What struck me the most in this story is just how invisible soil is to most of us, and yet how deeply it shapes everything from the food we eat to the health and potential of a nation. I've learned that restoring soil isn't just about farming, it's about rebuilding life from the ground up and rethinking how we grow, how we feed and sustain our cities and our future.
In Dakar, Senegal's rapidly growing capital, green space is becoming harder to find. And there's little room left for traditional vegetable gardens. But there is unused space right above people's heads, on rooftops and terraces across the city. When Maimouna Cham looked at her own terrace, she saw an opportunity. She's a trained engineer and interior designer. I asked myself, myself, what could be more beautiful than flowers? I started with just one plant and then it became an addiction. Little by little,